the Moonlight Sun finally gets the opportunity to shine some light on the Commonwealth. But hey, the Moonlight Sun, I'll never abandon you. But fortunately for all of you, you have the Moonlight Sun in your life. The Moonlight Sun is coming to your little town of Melrose. But don't fear, because I'm gonna light the way for all of you. Just sit back and let it happen.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
All right, wrestling fans, what a unique individual the Moonlight Sun, Mike Skyros is. I'm Dan Marotti, along with my co-host,
Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer, Tony Atlas.
It's a Thursday night. We got things on Ultra, baby. It's heating up. We've got so much going on this spring. Tickets are on sale, as we announced last week, to MWF Project X Loose Cannon, Saturday night, March the 28th, from 1 Somerville in Somerville, Massachusetts. What a night it's going to be, Tony. It's open to fans 18 and up. If you're under the age of 18, you cannot attend MWF Project X Loose Cannons. It's presented to you by Brian Pillman Jr. and Cam Zagami's Uprising faction. We announced last week some great talent, Tony. In addition to the entire Uprising faction, some great elite athletes are going to be with us in Lansing, Hawaii. Casey Navarro makes his MWF debut. Wheeler Yuta, Channing Thomas. But we have more announcements this week. What about our good friend from up in Syracuse, New York? Jay Freddy returns to the Millennium Wrestling Federation on March the 28th. What about this long-tenured veteran that has done just about everything in the king of sports professional wrestling, other than win an MWF championship, the Demon Luis Ortiz? In addition to that, he made his MWF debut in 2020. He's a hot up-and-comer. Alec Price returns at Loose Cannons, fans. And if that wasn't enough, what about this crazy individual we heard from at the top of the program? The Moonlight Sun, Mike Skyros. What a growing roster of outstanding, hungry young athletes that are going to be competing live at 1 Somerville in Somerville, Massachusetts. And that's what it's all about, Tony. A lot of these athletes you're going to see not only in Somerville but Melrose. These are the present. These are the future. These are the guys that you're going to see in WWE and AEW over the next few years. It's unbelievable that we have so much great talent in one place right now.
Yes, it is. You know, all over the world they got great wrestlers. But like Dan keeps saying, if y'all guys want to get a break, this is the place you need to be to get that break.
The Call to Action campaign is ongoing, fans. Not fans, I'm talking about to professional wrestlers. If you're looking to compete here in the MWF, reach out to us on BostonWrestling.com. We have our executives that would be happy to look at matches, interviews that you may have. If you can stand out with what we already have, we'd love to meet you.
Yeah.
I know, Tony, you're a great eye when it comes to up-and-coming talent yourself. That's why it's so great not only to have you here in studio, but you're a great part of the MWF family. Everything we do here, you've given us some great wisdom on wrestlers to bring in.
You know, last time that they was lucky enough to get Gerald Brisco, who has got a lot more knowledge of this business I do, you know, former world champion, talent agent for WWE. So he came down and looked at some of the wrestlers. I think a lot of the guys may get a letter in the mail from the WWE or NXT because Jerry Brisco was really, really impressed with the performance the guys put on.
That's right. If you were lucky enough to be with us at MWF Project X back at December 28th in Deverett Memorial Hall in Melrose, Jerry Brisco was very impressed with the talent on hand. I remember the next morning, my gosh, we picked him up at the hotel. It must have been about 5:30, 5:15, somewhere in there, whatever the time was. He came up, shook my hand. He said some very complimentary things about the event and the athletes that we had that you're seeing each and every week here on MWF Ultra. So I applaud the talent. It's just a matter of bringing in more great talent and even more so bringing in more great professional wrestling fans, because the more fans that support these great events, Tony, what happens? It means we're going to have more live events for these athletes to compete on. It means we're going to have more great live events for fans to come on out to and enjoy, not watching it on television or on the internet, but to be able to enjoy the experience live and in person. That's what wrestling's all about.
That's right.
All right, Tony. Project X Loose Cannons, the tickets are on sale, but they're also buzzing about the big one, WrestleMania weekend, April 3rd and 4th for us. We're headed south, WrestleCon 2020. WrestleCon it's a lot of fun, Tony. As you've said, we make great fans from all over the globe. We're doing it again this year at George Steinbrenner Field, the home of the New York Yankees in spring training. Myself, Tony, you're going to be there. We announced that our buddy Dutch Mantel, Zeb Colter, is going to be there. And if you missed it before Monday Night Raw this week, we announced another guest that's going to be with us. How about the Hall of Famer, Jerry Brisco? We just talked about him a few minutes ago. Jerry Brisco is going to be with us live at WrestleCon, signing autographs, posing for photos. We had a great time with Jerry in New York City last year as part of WrestleMania. Now WrestleMania is taking over Tampa for WrestleMania 36, and with that comes the immersive WrestleCon convention. I believe this is going to be our 5th consecutive one.
Yes.
You love WrestleCon. You never know who may want to come and be friendly with you, pose for photos with you. You had people from overseas walk on you last year at WrestleCon.
Oh, yeah, I have fun at WrestleCon. A great place to be.
Well, I can't wait to see some of the video footage we come home with this year. All right, Tony, tickets for our autograph and pose photos at WrestleCon are on sale as well at BostonWrestling.com. We have another big announcement we're going to make a little later on in the show. We're going to tease it a little more. Another big talent announcement. But fans, right now, we're going to take a brief timeout. We come back inside the squared circle. It's going to be the veteran Beau Douglas taking on the newcomer, the Moonlight Son, Mike Skyros.
You're about to have so much fun!
The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, will be in Boston with Friday Night SmackDown.
Are you willing to let him in?
Will he finally break the leader of the Yes Movement?
No more mind games. Any time, any place, any Bray.
Witness Daniel Bryan battle the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, for the Universal Championship. Plus see Roman Reigns in a massive 6-man tag team match. It's Friday Night SmackDown in Boston, Friday, February 28th. Tickets and ringsider packages are available.
Welcome to MWF Ultra Fans feature matchup this week. Multi-time MWF Tag Team Champions Beau Douglas taking on the debuting Moonlight Son, Mike Skyros. Skyros jumps Beau Douglas as he's out greeting the fans before the bell. All right, security, get the fans back. Look at Skyros go to work on Douglas. Two athletes that are on different trajectories right now. Beau Douglas has battled many an injury as he appears closer to the end of his career than the beginning. Skyros has been making some waves all over the Northeast, along with those crazy videos we saw this fall and winter. There we go. Going to work on Beau Douglas's leg. He might not be able to make it into the ring to start the matchup. Douglas is a scrappy individual trying to fight out of it, but Skyros almost laughing at Douglas like what he's doing is a joke. Look at that. Well, the ref fans just said it all. He sucks. And look at him now. The Moonlight Son, an odd individual. Eccentric individual, but you know what? His plan coming into this matchup appeared to work. I don't know why he's not trying to stay on top of Douglas now, or at least get the match started. Let's see what happens here, fans. Douglas has proven time and time again he's a resourceful individual. First won the MWF Tag Team Champions with Warbeard Todd Hansen, now Ivar of the Viking Raiders in WWE. Held the tag team titles with Jackson Blue, formerly of Kiss 108. Oh, well, look at that. That clothesline didn't have much on it. Neither did that boot to the face, still effective enough to get him off his feet. Scoop. No, can't even keep it. Look at that. Skyros goes right back to the well. If Douglas can't stand, that offense isn't going to mean much. Douglas's pants falling down. This isn't a pretty sight. Going right back to work on that left knee. Well, Beau, he's a graduate of Killer Kowalski School of Professional Wrestling. When you're trained by a legend, a WWE Hall of Famer like Killer Kowalski, believe me, the tricks in the back of your mind never leave you without a fighting chance in any competition. Kicked him again right above the knee. Skyros just appears to be playing with him right now. Up and down he goes. Down on his back again. Cam Zagami has attempted to mock and humiliate Beau Douglas in the past. I know Beau would have liked to have had a chance against an Uprising member tonight. Maybe his hatred of Zagami and the rest made him overlook this impressive athlete in Mike Skyros. Referee right in there to make sure he's not missing a pinfall attempt. Smart refereeing. We've seen some disappointing refereeing, I'd say, so far in 2020, but that's a different story for a different time. Wait, goes for a small package attempt right there. Referee right there, no, not anywhere near enough to put away Skyros. Whoa! Beau Douglas could have lost a couple of teeth. Those forearm uppercut smashes from Skyros, very impressive. Very, but he's wasting his time. Wasting his time worrying about what the fans have to say. But still, Douglas is injured that it doesn't make a difference. Reverse splash into the corner. Beau Douglas needs a chance to recoup. Moves out of the way. Charges out of the post with a clothesline. That one did the job right there. Again, Beau Douglas has seen a lot and well over 20 years competing in professional wrestling. Never count him out. And the fans are rallying behind him. Oh, look at that. Skyros just kicks him in the leg again. Look at that reversal right there. That could be a submission attempt. Beau is nowhere near the ropes. Oh, and he taps. He taps! Skyros submits Beau Douglas here in his Millennium Wrestling Federation debut. We told you, fans, it's a new year, a new decade, a new chapter of the Millennium Wrestling Federation. Mike Skyros is a hungry young athlete. He might not have even hit his peak yet. He looked very impressive. He came away with the victory, executing a great game plan, whether you like it or you don't like it. Ultimately, it was successful. Fans, don't forget you're going to see Skyros in action. I don't know about Beau Douglas and MWF Project X. Saturday night, March the 28th, as Brian Pillman Jr. and Club Cam's Uprising present MWF Project X. Loose Cannons. Again, 18 plus only. No kids allowed. Saturday night, March the 28th, one Somerville in Beau's hometown of Somerville, Massachusetts. From there, we head south to Tampa for WrestleMania weekend. It's going to be WrestleCon 2020. We're going to be joined by the Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, Zeb Colter, Dutch Mantel, and WWE Hall of Famer, Jerry Brisco. From there, WrestleMania week, we all head north back to Boston. All roads lead to Memorial Hall in Melrose. Saturday night, April the 11th, it's back to the 80s WrestleFest. We have a big announcement coming up on the 8th featured superstar, appearing along with Jake Roberts, Axe and Smash Demolition, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, Brutus the Barber, Beefcake, Tony Atlas, and Lanny Poffo. But fans, this is a sad, sad state Beau Douglas is in right now. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, I'll be joined by the Hall of Famer, Tony Atlas. Stand by.
You're about to have so much fun!
For the first time ever in Syracuse, the Fiend Bray Wyatt.
Yowie wowie! It's the Fiend! Yay!
And can the big dog get his revenge with some help from his family?
I'm ready for battle with my brothers by my side.
Roman Reigns and the Usos throw down with King Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode in a massive six-man tag team match.
See you there!
It's the WWE Road to WrestleMania Tour in Syracuse, Sunday, March 1st. Tickets and WWE Superstar Experience packages are available.
All right, Tony, it wasn't a good night for Beau Douglas in the squared circle. A big loss for him. Mike Skyros, he seemed to outsmart him before the bell even rang. You've known Beau Douglas a long time.
Oh, yes, Beau Douglas was trained with Killer Kowalski. He was one of my, him and Slick Ragnar Brown, one of my closest friends. But I've been knowing Beau for a long, long time. Beau, they got his own wrestling school.
Yep.
He's a great athlete, a great trainer, and a wonderful person to meet.
Well, you know, Tony, you watched it with me. It wasn't a good night for him.
Well, no.
Is he closer to the end than the beginning?
In the wrestling world, we take the losses along with the win because we just enjoy the sport. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. And sometimes losing will make you stronger because the next time you meet your opponent, you know how he beat you. And sometimes a move that was used to beat you. You learned that move by losing, where you could use it on someone else. So there's no win and loss in wrestling. It's just the thrill of the game.
All right, well, it remains to be seen what happens next for Beau Douglas here in the Millennium Wrestling Federation. Certainly a big night for the Moonlight Son, Mike Skyros, winning his MWF debut. We saw him running around Melrose, running around Boston, leading up to the matchup. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Moonlight in the future here in the MWF.
Yes, it
but
will
a great
be.
up-and-coming athlete, if nothing else.
Oh, yeah.
Those forearm uppercuts, they were shades of Dory Funk Jr.
Yeah.
He loved the forearm uppercut, didn't he, Dory
Yeah.
Funk Jr.?
Oh, yeah, that was one of his best moves. Yeah.
All right, Tony, we're running out of time here this week. Again, after Loose Cannons in Somerville, after we head home from Tampa, Florida, all roads are leading north to the big reunion we're having, baby. It's MWF Project X back to the 80s WrestleFest, Saturday, April the 11th, from the historic Memorial Hall. What's the address?
590 Main Street, Melrose.
Downtown Melrose, just a couple of blocks from this studio. We go back to the 80s. We go back to the golden era. The Saturday night memories we had from the old Boston Garden of those great events with those animals that were in the crowd going nuts for the great WWF action in the squared circle. Announced to be part of this unbelievable reunion. We're talking about my sidekick, my buddy, my partner in crime, Mr. USA Tony Atlas. We're talking about the WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, WWE Hall of Famer Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Hopefully he won't try and bite off your ear again.
That's right.
Two men that should be in the Hall of Fame. Two men, I'm happy to say, Tony, I don't even know if you know this story. After not speaking for 16 years, I brought Axe and Smash Demolition back together again. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
They didn't speak for 16 years after Axe left WWF.
Oh.
It's a great story for the Q&A, I guess, but one of my feathers in my cap, and there aren't many feathers, believe me, but I can say I helped bring Axe and Smash back together again after a long period of not communicating.
Huh.
We're also going to have with us the genius Lanny Poffo. With Lanny, not only his legacy here in wrestling, but he's going to bring the WWE Hall of Fame ring of the Macho Man, Randy Savage. That's going to be really cool in and of itself.
Yeah.
We announced last week on this show, former WWE Tag Team Champion and Hall of Famer Brutus the Barber Beefcake is going to be joining us. But Tony, I know you were on the conference call. A lot of discussion went on behind the scenes. Myself, you, Dr. David Reese, Oscar, the chairman, Neil Manolian, Mark Dustin, the Hall of Famer himself. But we have, Tony, an eighth featured superstar we're going to announce. You want to announce him? What a Rush, Road Warrior Animal, is going to join us at Back to the 80s WrestleFest.
Yeah, thank you.
Tony, it's going to be incredible, baby.
Oh, I believe you.
What a Rush.
Yes, he's a great individual. People are going to really enjoy seeing the animal.
Kick-ass professional wrestler. You talk about certainly someone that was the personification of the 80s. Big guys, big badass-looking professional wrestlers. Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, they were, again, the definition of kick-ass wrestling back in the 80s. They kicked ass like none other. The face paint, the music, the intensity that they brought to the ring. Do you see guys in 2020 in WWE that have that aura when they hit the ring like Hawk and Animal had back in the 80s?
Oh, no, Reb. They don't grow men no more in this country.
Yeah. What happened to all the men? Yeah.
They overgrown kids, so it's not the same. So it's hard to compare the guys today with Animal and Hawk. Animal and Hawk, Vince probably wouldn't let them in the ring today.
They'd be too big.
Too rough.
Too intense.
Too rough.
Too rough.
Too rough.
All right, Tony, as you've said many times, the unfortunate thing is if you look at fan fest reunions, however you want to classify it from years past, look at the legends that have been at them. And they're not here with us anymore. Look at some of the greats we've had here in this studio. Harley Race, Paul Bearer, Vader, Doink the Clown, Matt Bourne. Wrestling greats that cannot be with us at Fan Fest reunions like this. So it's important to get out and meet them. You never know if it could be your last chance. And that's a lousy way to try and present the event to you, but it's the God's to honest truth. I would have loved to have had Mean Gene with us. I would have loved to have had King Kong Bundy with us. We spoke to King Kong Bundy about coming in not long before he passed away. I don't think you would, but I'd love to have George the Animal Steel with us, and so many others. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
You never know when it could be the last chance, which is why I'm a big advocate of the Cauliflower Alley Club, the reunion we have in Las Vegas every year. But this is going to be our reunion. This is for Boston. Vince McMahon is not bringing WrestleMania to Boston. He can't. We don't have the facilities for it, and the weather would be lousy, most likely. This is for you. If you loved Boston Garden Wrestling back in the 80s, if you loved to hit Causeway Street and all the goodness that came along with just the fun of waiting to get in the building, the animals that would be outside of the Strawberries record store, banging on those steel doors to open, running up the ramp, waiting for the guys to walk through, yelling and screaming at the villains. People going nuts when someone like Hulk Hogan would walk through to go to the locker room. That's an experience you'll never forget. I remember more about going to those shows as a little kid than I can remember anything that WWE's done over the past 10 or 15 years. These are great memories, and while we might not have the building to do it, and Memorial Hall's a pretty cool building, and we're going to bring you 8 professional wrestling legends, at least in our minds. For a few hours, we're going to go back to the 80s.
It'd be great. You know, every time I get on any type of talk show, it's as if wrestling started in the 90s. There was no wrestling before 1990.
No.
Because every show that I be on, they talk about people that was not the foundation. I mean, when the last time you hear any program that mentioned Bruno Sammartino,
right,
superstar Billy Graham, Wahoo McDaniel, Ric Flair? Nobody talk about these people no more. It's always what's going on right now and today. Well, what a lot of people don't realize, there's no more wrestling.
Yep.
Wrestling died out in the 80s. Now you have what's called sports entertainment. That's why a champion could be 150 pounds and be smaller than Serena Williams and weaker.
Yeah.
And professional wrestling is the only place where a guy that is too small to be a wrestler and too big to be a midget become champion.
Well, professional wrestling is certainly an interesting landscape in 2020, but that's why, again, on April the 11th, Tony, it's going to be so much fun. We're going to talk about that great era of wrestling, all the memories, all the matches, all the big events. Again, it's like a homecoming. It's like a big reunion. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, the discounts is now, look at the 8 talents we have featured. We have to increase the price of the VIP ticket. We're going to do so on Monday. So you have this weekend to take advantage of what I consider to be the best value in professional wrestling. Again, all tickets go on sale tomorrow. The VIP tickets are already on sale now. On Friday, we have the floor seating, the Loge general admission seating, along with individual autograph and individual photo tickets. If you want to save some money, get the VIP tickets now. I'm saying that out of kindness, because the price, it's got to go up. You talk about how much it costs to bring in 8 great legends like this. The cost of the airfare, the hotel, the rent of the venue. Then you talk about the great night of professional wrestling we're going to bring you on top of it. But it's going to be worth every penny, I guarantee you, especially the VIPs that are going to get the group photo. You and 8 of these professional wrestling legends at one time. Where else in the world can you have a picture taken like that, Tony?
You just in Melrose, $390. You got to go to $590 Main Street, Melrose.
It could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to have these 8 legends and you all in the same picture. Hopefully everybody holds up their Hall of Fame ring so you really get the experience. But again, Tony, it's going to be a lot of fun. Those tickets, there's only one place to get them, at bostonwrestling.com. We need your support. As the song goes, I think it was back in the 90s, not the 80s, but I ain't too proud to beg. We're not really begging you, but we're imploring you. We can give you more great events like this if you support it. For my good friend, the Hall of Fame and Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Tony, you have something to say?
No.
Oh, all right.
Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
We'll see you this Tuesday night on Wrestling Insiders. Good night.